Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy and we're gonna get straight into our penny stock watch list. Second stock of the day, we're looking at WDLF. Same thing, we had an anticipated breakout here. We had a nice little bull flag, but we broke our bull flag to the downside, and now we have a longer pattern right here, which is still a very solid pattern for the long term, which will end here on April 30th. We're treating this line right here as a level of support, and we're treating this line right here as a level of resistance. And so we will continue to trade in this flag here with WDLF. It doesn't look as extremely bullish as this, but this is still a bullish pattern, because at this point right here, if we break to the upside, we should start to see very nice gains. Just remember, this line right here also coincides with a back test of our uptrend line, which would also be pretty nice. And so right now with WDLF, we could still see some weakness in share price. We should see some consolidation in this range, and we would love to get a back test of this point. We would really need to hold this uptrend line, because this is the main focus of our uptrend. So regardless of what patterns we've seen up here, this tracks back to the beginning of our uptrend. So we would really need to hold this level. If we cannot hold this level, then WDLF is officially bearish and it is in a downtrend. We're looking at a spot of accumulation here on WDLF. We'll still see a lot more days where you can buy up and average down your position. I do expect this to trade sideways and bleed shortly till about April 30th. After this point right here, we'll get better indication if we are in a long-term downtrend or we're going to get a nice bounce here. For looking at our RSI, it doesn't look like our RSI can go too much lower, so I do expect this area right here to be a short-term bottom for WDLF for the next leg up. Next stock of the day, looking at IGEN on the daily time frame. So IGEN was down 6.05% today. I personally did average down, bought up some more shares here. And so if we're looking at this on a long-term basis, right here in April, when we saw the market crash last year, was the bottom of IGEN. We saw insiders like Chan buy up shares like crazy at these levels. And so we have been tracking this on this level of support. And so right now we are actually at this level of support. The last 3 days we have seen interactions with this level of support, but the price action always ends up clawing its way back up. So right now, in my opinion, is the bottom here for IGEN. If we break below this point right here, IGEN is done. But if we're just looking at our RSI right here is at 35, so we're almost oversold here as well. And so at these levels is where I am going to be averaging down my position. My goal with IGEN is to get an average cost below a penny, and so that is still the game plan. And if we continue to trade at these levels on this level of support, I am going to be again trying to get my average below a penny. Again, I like the outlook for this company. I have price targets of at least 0.038 and as high as 11 cents. So overall, I do have very strong conviction with this stock, and so because I know what I own, I am going to continue to average down at these levels, and I'm going to do it very methodically. I'm not going to just throw all the money in at once. You guys know I've just been continuously buying as the price has been going down, and I will continue to do so if we continue to drop, because this stock has been getting absolutely hammered out after we've seen highs of 2 cents. And so again, our RSI is starting to cool off. We are looking at a very attractive buying point right here, because if I was buying here in anticipation of a breakout, sitting below all of our SMAs looks like a pretty nice entry point if you haven't got into IGEN. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SEGI, probably one of the only green ones that are on our watch list today. Has had 2 great days, and we closed right above our 100-day SMA. So that was extremely bullish. We would love to see this continue its momentum up. We are starting to get our MACD crossover, and right here was actually a buy signal on SEGI. And so those of you who have been holding SEGI through this pain might start to see a rebound. This looks extremely promising right here on a MACD level. If we can get this crossover to continue into the positive territory, this will continue to roar. So overall today, SEGI had a beautiful day, up almost 10%. Next stock of the day, we're looking at MJNA on the daily time frame. So we're only down 1.26%, and a common theme we've been seeing in a lot of these stocks is our RSI has gone from overbought territories to oversold territories, which is actually a very healthy thing to happen. And so you obviously don't want a stock just to continue to go up. You want that pullback, you want that consolidation consolidation. And that's exactly what we've been seeing in a lot of these stocks. And so there is still some room to the downside on some of these stocks. And so in moments like this, you always just want to have some dry powder available to average down or buy up some of these opportunities. And so I'm still waiting for these prices to go even lower on some of these plays for me to go heavy into them, because the market is still at all-time highs in general. If we see any weakness in this, these will continue to drop. And so that is the fear that we're going to see in a lot of these stocks. But in the short term, I do think there is going to be room for one more run up here for a lot of these plays. And so at RSIs at these levels seems very attractive in my opinion. Next stock of the day, we look at ALYI on the daily time frame, down about 10%. Holding support here at the 100-day SMA. We had the same opportunity here. Last time we did that here, we saw this roar up. I'm not saying that's about to happen again, but if we're looking at our RSI again at a 36, we're almost oversold here, but still no signs yet of a crossover. So this could still go down in the short term. And so overall with ALYI, patiently waiting just to see where this one kind of bottoms out. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HYSR on the daily time frame, and we're almost starting to get into attractive areas here for HYSR, down 2.44%, but I expect this to go a lot lower in the short term. I believe we should find some sort of bottom here on this level of support, which coincides with not only a level of support but our 200-day SMA. And so this would just be a strictly trading opportunity. I don't plan on going long into HYSR anytime soon. This company has no real product yet, and so in an environment of speculation, this is not going to bode well when the market corrects itself. And so overall, you'll probably be able to get a lot better prices a year from now in HYSR. But in terms of trading, this might be a nice little swing play that we will be monitoring for HYSR. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ACDC on the daily time frame, down about 7%. And this was a day that we were kind of prepared for. We finally filled our gap here that we had at 27 cents, and now this is a buying opportunity. If we look at our RSI is extremely oversold. We are officially oversold here with an RSI of 26. Again, just for reference, anything below 30 is considered oversold. And so at this point, we are looking for a bounce back, and I think we will probably get that tomorrow. We've had extraordinary selling, but on very low volume. And so we finally filled this gap to the downside. This was a buying opportunity, and look for ACDC to recover after this point here. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HIGHT on the daily time frame. So we're down 6.35%. HITI continues to fall. There's a lot of dilution in this company, which is its biggest downfall in my opinion. And so we did have our triangle break down to the downside, which was not good. And right now we also did break down from this short-term level of support. And so right now HITI is in a downtrend. Our RSI is getting to a point where we are oversold, and so we should expect to see a bounce very shortly. The stock hasn't been on the exchange long enough for it to have a 100-day SMA, so you can see it kind of peeking up right here. We could find a bottom at this 100-day SMA. Overall, I would love to see HITI continue to trade in this channel right here, where it would get a back test onto this uptrend. And so if we're just looking at HITI, there's one thing that I want to mention. There is a gap here at 32 cents, which does scare me right now. On the daily time frame, you can see this gap clear as day. From about 32 cents to about 36, we have a 4 cents gap right here. And now that we've actually broken that pattern to the downside, I would not be surprised to see HITI get down to these levels of 32 cents. That seems like a long ways away for such a good company. So if you are in this company like myself, who is now bag holding this company, I am going to wait and watch to see exactly where the stock bottoms out. And if we do get to this 32 cents level, I will be loading the boat to average down my position, because this level on a downtrend seems like we will get a gap to fill here. And so we should start to see some more momentum to the downside if the market does correct. But in the short term, we could continue to trade at this point, but this gap is an unfortunate situation here for HITI, and all the dilution in the company is starting to catch up with it. And so overall, we'll see how HITI continues to trade, but right now it does not look good. Next stock of the day, we're looking at STAF on the daily time frame, and so we're down about 7%. And now this stock is looking extremely intriguing in my opinion. So since the bottom here of the March crash last year, we had a bottom and we have been tracking an uptrend this entire way. And here we are today, officially broken down from that point on very low volume, keep in mind. and so our RSI is starting to go extremely low here, and we could start to see very nice buying opportunities on a STAF for the long term. Anytime you break a pattern to the downside like this does show promise for a nice bounce back. And so right now we're below all of our SMAs here, and so this could be a very nice opportunity. We could see 1 or 2 more down days with STAF, but I do expect to see a bounce up. Just show you guys on the monthly what type of volume we've been seeing. A lot more buyers than sellers in general, and so overall STAF is a very attractive play at these prices, but we're still going to continue to watch the price action. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SNDL on the daily time frame, and again got crushed here on SNDL. We are getting our RSI at very attractive levels now at a 34. Still no signs of a crossover, but because we have an RSI of 34 and we are very close to that oversold level, this should act as a very nice bottom in the short term. But because we got rejected by our 100-day SMA, I want to see if we can get as low as the 67 cents level. If we can get to this level, I will be a buyer again into SNDL, but until we start to see a clear crossover, we are going to stay away from SNDL because the market is not favoring this stock. There you guys have it. That was our quick update on our explosive penny stock watch list. The markets are looking extremely speculative right now, and a lot of these prices have come down to very attractive levels. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.